record. All right. And then amazing what happens when you hit record. So I am Susan Pastusan of Susan's Travel, and we are here tonight with Columba Calicchio of Ama Waterways. Columba is my sales rep, and she is going to do a presentation on Ama Waterways.
Yes.
Columba, if the floor is yours.
Okay, I'm just getting ready. Do you see my camera? Am I on my screen?
Yes.
Excellent. So hi, everybody. Nice to see you all. And if I see people trying to enter, I will let them in as we go along. But as Susan mentioned, I'm here to talk to you a little bit tonight about river cruising. It's something that has been around for a while. All right. Okay. So here we go. Sorry. So as Susan mentioned, she's invited me on to talk to you a little bit about river cruising, which is really growing in popularity more than ever, especially after the pandemic. We're finding more and more people want to experience a small ship rather than the big mega ships that are out there. So Ama Waterways may not be a name that you're familiar with. So that's really what I want to kind of talk to you about as well, because we're not the biggest river cruise company out there. We don't do a lot of direct mail. We don't do a lot of advertising on TV, although we're doing a little bit here and there. We put the money back into the product, and we rely on past guests that come back from a fabulous experience to tell their friends and family about Ama Waterways. And we rely on travel professionals like Susan and her team to tell you what the differences are in the different companies out there. Because just like with big ship cruisers, why do some people choose Carnival, some choose Royal Caribbean, some choose Celebrity? There are differences. We may all go to the same places, but we all take you there a little bit differently. So just by telling you a little bit about the company, we are a small family-run business. On the left, you see Rudy Schreiner, the founder of the company, who actually worked for our major competitor for years, kind of got them up and running. Christine Karst is in the center. When they started the company in 2002, they were not married, but things happen, so they are married now. And on the right is Gary Murphy, whose dad was the original partner when the company was founded. So all of them are of European descent. Gary is actually born in Staten Island, funnily enough, but his dad is from Ireland. Christine is from from Germany, and Rudy is from Austria. So they know the rivers, they love the rivers. And like I said, we're not a huge company. What we do, we really specialize in the areas that we go to. We're not looking to take over the world by having big ships, little ships, helicopters, hotels, motor coaches. River is all we do. So what we like to say when we talk about the difference between big ship cruisers and small ship cruisers like ours, we say oceans take you to countries where rivers take you through them. So people often ask me, who are these people that go on river cruises? They're people that have been there, done that on the big ships, and now they're looking for something totally different. Or the people that say, oh, no. 3,000 people, 5,000 people on a ship, that is not my idea of fun. So here you see a gorgeous shot of one of our ships sailing along the Rhine River Gorge. If you've never cruised because you're nervous about being out at sea and seeing nothing but water, that's not the case on a river cruise at all. You'll see beautiful views along the way. Castles along the way. I mean, sometimes you do see some industrial areas too, I'll give it that, but it's usually looking like this. Boat drill on our ships is almost a joke because, you could practically walk ashore. So it's nothing like a big ship. And when we think about the size of my ships carry an average of 156 guests. That's like a lifeboat on Royal Caribbean. And I could say that because I worked there for 10 years prior to joining Ama Waterways 10 years ago. I'm just about to have my 10-year anniversary next month. So I was one of those people, been there, done that with the big ships. And I have to say, the first time I was going on a river cruise, I was a little bit nervous because I'm a showgirl. I love casinos. And I thought, oh gosh, what am I going to do at night on this ship? But I have to tell you, it's such a different experience because you are in a port of call every single day. Sometimes you're in 2 ports of call in one day. You're taking in all these gorgeous views. You're walking, you're hiking, you're biking. It's just a totally different experience. It's not like a big ship where you're sitting on the top deck, listening to calypso music, napping and drinking pina coladas. Okay. Not like that. So you are really taking it all in and you don't miss that nightlife because when we talk through the presentation, you see what's involved. You don't miss it because there's your days are so, so full. So when we talk about where we go, here's the map from the North Sea to the Black Sea. Most of our itineraries are 7-night cruises. Some are longer, but we always offer a pre or post land extension. And the reason for that is we feel that most people aren't going all the way to Europe for just 7 nights. They want a little bit more. So say, for example, you were doing a Danube cruise that started in Wilshof in Germany and ended in Budapest. You can spend a few nights in Prague before joining the ship. If you were doing the Paris Normandy, you could spend a few nights in Paris. If you're doing Amsterdam, you could spend a few nights in Amsterdam. So what makes us unique to the other river cruise companies out there is our pre and post land extensions include the services of the cruise manager. So unlike the big ships where the cruise manager is on the same ship for about 6-month contract, our cruise managers do one cruise at a time. So they're there at the hotel in Prague. They act as a concierge. They're there to get you settled in, give you advice, give you suggestions. They're concierge, give you tips, where to go, where not to go. On the land extension, you will have sightseeing that's included. You'll have breakfast included daily. So it's really a nice way to get yourself settled into Europe before boarding the ship or at the end of the trip. They're really there to make it a seamless experience for you. Other companies will have a representative at the hotel, but 5 o'clock comes, they take that tablecloth and they go home. You will have your cruise manager's phone number, room number. Anything should go awry, you knock on his door and he's there to help you. So we've got the typical rivers in Europe, the Danube, the Rhine, the Rhone, the Seine. We've got 5 different itineraries in France. We've got 2 ships in Portugal as well. And then we have our exotics. So we offer a tiny little ship in South Africa, only 14 staterooms, 28 guests. We have a small ship in Egypt, only 36 staterooms, sailing along the Nile. We have a ship in Vietnam and Cambodia, 122 guests, beautiful ship on the Mekong. And then our last exotic destination, which isn't even here yet, it's starting in 2024, is South America. So we're going to be the very first river cruise company to have a ship that sails in Colombia, South America. So if you have any interest in those exotic destinations, we could definitely do this again and talk about those. But tonight, what we want to focus on, like I mentioned, is Europe, because that really is the heart of our business. We have a total of 25 ships in our fleet. So I said we're a small company, but not tiny. We're pretty good. We're in good position. So 25 ships in our fleet. And as Europe is the heart of our company, we really have the bulk of our ships based there. So these are just a few shots to show you that when you're sailing on our rivers, not only will you see beautiful destinations, you'll get to do them in a different way. It's not just about seeing churches, town square, and city hall. We have hiking tours, biking tours, and everything is at your own pace, which we'll talk about too. Now, what makes Ama different from the other river cruise companies out there? I mentioned that we carry 156 guests. Our major competitor, and everybody knows who they are, they carry 190 guests on the same size ship. So what does that tell you right off the bat? They're carrying a lot more people, so that means they've got a lot less space. Our staterooms on average are larger. Yes, they do have 2 very large suites on their ship, but if you're not booking one of those suites, who cares? What's the difference? Okay, it's about having space. We have amenities on our ship that our competitors don't have. We have gyms, we have a masseuse, we have a hairdresser. Our small ships have a jacuzzi on the top deck. Our larger ships have a pool on the top deck. We have a specialty restaurant on our ship, which there's no charge for, and I'm going to show you pictures of it in a few minutes. Our food is outstanding. We are one of the only cruise companies that has the designation of the Champ de Retisseur, which is a culinary institute. On the lower left, you can see a shot of one of our staterooms. Our average stateroom looks like this with a twin balcony. I have a larger picture to show you in a couple of slides coming up. We have wellness coaches on our ships to get you up in the morning, do a little core strengthening, resistance band training. They'll do the walks around the deck with you. They even escort you on some of the more strenuous excursions like the hiking and the biking. And the big difference, in 2019, we built a ship right here, because you can see it in the middle. It's a ship that is twice the width of a standard river cruise ship. She's called the Ama Magna. She only sails on the Danube. And the reason that is because the Danube is the only river that has double wide locks. for 2 ships to pass at the same time. Now, you say, why would you build a ship that's twice as wide? She's twice as wide and carries only 196 guests. So twice the width, 40 more people. And what we were trying to do with this ship was trying to attract the big ship cruisers that have been saying for years, I don't know, I want to try a river cruise, but I need a little bit more. I like more variety. I like a larger stateroom. Well, the average stateroom on the Ama Magna is nearly 400 square feet. There's one suite that's over 700 square feet. She has 4 different dining options to choose from, all included in the price. She has a huge gym at the back of the ship. She has a jacuzzi and a pool. So she offers a wider variety. And she sails on the Danube, which proves to be usually the most popular of our rivers anyway. So it actually works out perfectly. As I mentioned, she came out in 2019. We all know what happened in 2020. So she still has that new ship smell and is really, really popular. But it's really the people that make the biggest difference with Ama. So here you see a beautiful shot of one of our beautiful waitresses, because every night on board our ship, we have a 1-hour complimentary cocktail party. In addition to serving complimentary beer, wine, and soda with lunch and dinner, this is another thing that we offer every single night. So we're most inclusive company. It would be easier for me to tell you what's not included, okay? Because we don't include, gratuities. We feel that that should be at the discretion of the guests. We'll give you guidelines. We don't include spa treatments, hair salon, gift shop, obviously, and the extra alcohol, maybe, an after dinner drink or drink with lunch, that's not included, but everything else is included. The most important thing to realize is when you look at our day-by-day itinerary, every excursion that's listed is included. You have 3 to 4 choices in every port of call. And as I mentioned earlier, you may actually be in 2 ports in one day. You'll still have 3 to 4 choices. Will you have time to do them all? Unfortunately, no, but it's about having the choice. Many of our competitors kind of trick you and say you'll have a city tour on every tour, on every cruise, which is great. But you say, oh, but I really want to do this tour. They'll say, oh yeah, you can, but it's going to cost you extra. Believe me when I say you will walk off my ship with a very, very small bill. I just got back from a Danube cruise. I had prepaid gratuities because my company does that for me. And my bill was like $49. That was just a couple of drinks after dinner, a little trinket I bought in the gift shop, and that was it. We have movies on demand, complimentary in your stateroom. You've got Wi-Fi is included. You don't pay any extra like the big ships. You don't have to buy minutes or anything. And it's pretty much all inclusive, even laundry. I think I had I had my bill here. I had 2 pair of pants washed, laundry service. They were $2 each, okay? Crazy, pack light, and do laundry on the ship. Here again is one of our staterooms. Oh, somebody's coming in, Vicky Epstein. I'm letting her in. So this is one of our staterooms, a better shot of it. This is what the average stateroom looks like. There's no such thing as an inside cabin on a river cruise. Of course, we do have some cabins with just a window. We teasingly call those our swan view, because if you're short, welcome, Vicky. If you could please mute yourself.
As
Thank you. And if you have any questions, you can type them in the chat or we'll answer them at the end, okay? Thank you. So these range from 210 to 250 square feet. Dining venues. I mentioned that we have 2 on most of our ships. So our main dining room is set beautifully for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Tablecloth, napkin, just beautifully presented. It's an open seating policy, so you just come and sit wherever you'd like, join people. Maybe you want a table for 2, no problem. So open for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Breakfast and lunch are open seating, as is dinner, but you have a window to come in. So let's say breakfast is 7 to 9, lunch is 12 to 2, dinner is a set time. So when you get back from excursions, freshen up a little bit, go to the cocktail party, and then make your way to the main dining room. The menu changes every night, and you really get the flavors of the destination. So if you're doing a Danube cruise, like I just got off, I had my Wiener Schnitzel, I had my Hungarian goulash, I had soccer tort, of course, and wonderful desserts to choose from. So we've gone away from buffets in Europe. prior to COVID, we had a little buffet table. You could kind of help yourself and be served. Now there's no more buffets. Everything is served, and it really is wonderful. And then we have what's called the Chef's Table Restaurant. So this is a smaller, more intimate venue. When you walk on the ship that day, you can make a decision and decide you want to make a reservation. You'll walk into the chef's table that night. The maitre d' will introduce himself. He'll introduce the wines they're going to be pouring, the staff, and then it begins. This restaurant, the menu stays the same all week, and it's a multi-course tasting menu. Beautifully, beautifully presented. It's like you're eating art. It's absolutely gorgeous, tasty as well. And it's about 7 courses. But I don't want you to think you're going to be rolling out of the dining room, because they're all little delectable bites of very, different things. But again, complimentary. So one night during the cruise, you make a reservation and you'll enjoy the Chef's Table Restaurant. After dinner, whether it's the chef table or the main dining room, this is where you're going to come for everything. Your cocktail party before dinner, your excursion talk. We serve, see there's a little station here. We serve a light breakfast, or like a continental breakfast. If you're not the type that wants to go sit and have a leisurely breakfast, you can just grab a bite here. We also serve a light lunch here, and we have late night snacks. The piano is here because every night before dinner we have a piano player. He'll come on after the shows in the evening as well, and he'll be there till the wee hours. Not that it's going to be that late, believe me. But you'll see it's nice, comfortable, casual, sofa style seating. It's at the very front of the ship. When you're sailing through the Vacal Valley or the Rhine River Gorge, this is where you want to be if the weather's not good enough to be up on the top deck. Up in the top is really where you want to be. People often ask, oh, what side of the ship do I want to be on? Don't ask, because when you're sailing through these gorgeous areas, you're going to be getting commentary from the cruise manager. You don't want to be in your cabin on the right side of the ship when he's talking about stuff on the left side of the ship. So you want to be either upstairs on the outer deck or in this beautiful lounge area. That's where you want to be. So shots of our entertainment. Now, if you're thinking you're going to see a Broadway show or a Las Vegas style show, that ain't happening, okay? Again, it's local entertainment. It's about the destination. So it could be a string quartet, could be a dance troupe like this. I just got off the Danube cruise. There was a couple that came on and did like Sound of Music kind of thing. There was a guest lecture to talk about the Main-Danube Canal and when it was built. So it's very, very different, but entertaining, as I said. So dinner is very leisurely. Because the wine is included, if you don't turn your glass upside down, it keeps on coming. By the time you go up here and see, listen to this music or see a little bit of the show, by 10:30, you're going to be done and ready to hit the hay for the next day. So don't think, I hear it all the time. People say, oh, there's nothing to do at night. I don't want to go on a river cruise and be bored. You will not be bored. Believe me, you'll be tired and you'll want to go to sleep and rest up for the next day. And when I say that, I should preface it too. Our excursions start at 9 a.m. They don't start at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., the crack of dawn. It's not like that. You have time to go have breakfast, and then 9 o'clock is when they start calling the tours off the ship. And getting back to our cruise managers, they really do a fantastic job. Like I said, they're with you from beginning to end, and they really pride themselves on the work that they do on the ships. Here's a shot of the pool on our larger ships. And as I mentioned, the smaller ships have jacuzzis. The pools are heated. I sailed in November. People were enjoying them. I sailed a few weeks ago. I was expecting spring. It did not happen, but people still enjoyed the pool. Now, again, talking about the excursions, this happens to be an excursion in France where you'll actually go truffle hunting. So it's not just churches, town square, and city hall. The walking tours, when you sign up for them, you'll sign up for the pace you want to go. So we have gentle walker, regular, and active, because that's another question I often get was, what if I'm a little challenged or a little slow and I can't keep up? Then you're going to sign up for the gentle walker tour. It'll be a little bit shorter. It'll be at a slower pace, but everybody stays together. And in your stateroom, you're going to find your AudioVox headset. You're going to put the piece in your ear, hang the other piece around your neck, and you'll follow the lollipop of your color, and you'll just go along with the cruise, guide that's assigned for that particular tour. And there you see a shot of some of the hiking you can do, the biking. we were the first company to have bikes on board our ships. So this is something we really enjoy. People love taking the bikes on their own or joining one of the guided bike tours. We have the bikes, the helmets, and they are guided tours. And then we also do wine cruises, tasting kind of menus as well that you can experience as far as the excursions go. So let's take a look now at the legendary Danube. We always offer, when you leave from or end in Wilshofen, Germany, we have a Oktoberfest. So it takes place right off the ship in a tent right outdoors. We'll be singing, dancing, beer, pretzels. Of course, you see this gorgeous shot in the lower left of the Parliament building of Budapest, which is amazing. You'll get to see it from the Fisherman's Bastion. Budapest is actually two cities. It's Buda and Pest, so you get to experience it all. And of course, on that itinerary, you'll visit three major European capitals. You'll visit Budapest, the capital of Hungary, Bucharest, the capital, Bratislava, the capital of Bucharest, and Vienna, the capital of Austria. So looking at the map, you see you're going to be traveling to 5 different countries on this itinerary. So it's 7 nights, but 5 countries. And when you see all these little dots, they're not necessarily the stops along the way, but the ones off the map like this, Český Krumlov, that would be an excursion that you take when you stop in Linz. Salzburg is also an excursion when you stop in Linz, and so is the Austrian Lake District. So you get to choose where you want to spend your time, but you've got 5 different countries on one itinerary, and you're really getting to see the heart of the destination. Beautiful, beautiful excursions. And then, of course, I mentioned that we have 5 different itineraries in France. France is a wonderful destination to go biking because it's not as hilly as some of our other destinations. You'll get to see beautiful vineyards, chateaus. People love to go to France for the history. Of course, the beaches of Normandy are very, very popular. So we have an itinerary called Paris and Normandy, which is a 7-night cruise, and you could do a pre-package in Paris. But I like this itinerary because it gives you a little bit more. Instead of being round trip Paris, you spend 2 nights in Paris then you sail along the Seine River to Le Havre, this is now the Brittany region of France. So you look across, you can actually are looking at the English Channel. And what I love about this is the post extension that takes you to Saint-Malo, and you'll get to visit Mont Saint-Michel, which is spectacular. After your 3 nights in Saint-Malo, we then transfer you back to Paris for 1 night because we can't get you there in time for the flights because most flights to the US leave early in the morning. So we put you up at the airport at the Pullman Hotel. You'll get a good night's sleep. You'll wake up the next morning and go right to your terminal to transfer home. But this gives you a great opportunity to see not only the beaches of Normandy, which of course it's a very, very moving day, but you've got the history of Giverny and seeing Monet's gardens and just some beautiful seaside towns like Honfleur, Rouen, where Joan of Arc was put to the stake. Just a lot of history. And then of course the Rhine River, also popular. Look at the gorgeous castles you're going to see along the way here. What you'll find on the Rhine are more small, little, quaint towns. I think that there are more big cities on the Danube. Here you've got little quaint towns like Rudesheim, like Strasbourg, like Requier. Those are 2 tiny towns that are on the Alsace region of France. So they're on the France-German border, and they are little towns that were fought over by Germany and France for many, many years and were occupied by both countries for many years, but they're now fully French. So the Rhine River, you can start with a few nights in Amsterdam and then work your way down south and end in Basel, Switzerland. And then you can do the land extension to Lucerne and Zurich. Know that the land is always optional. You don't have to, obviously, but we just feel like it just wraps things up in a nice, pretty bow for you. Another itinerary that is really nice along the Rhine River, same thing, starts in Amsterdam, ends in Basel, but instead of going to Lucerne and Zurich, you can go to Lake Como in Italy. So that itinerary is called Rhine Castles and Swiss Alps. Really popular. And of course, another great time to travel is the Christmas markets. I had the opportunity to do this last November. I was on the ship for Thanksgiving. That's me and my niece on the left. So the Christmas markets open the Sunday after Thanksgiving and are open through Christmas. So a beautiful time to travel. I know we've got some Floridians on the phone. I'm not sure if they've got the right attire for this trip, but I think it would probably appeal because you're not used to this cold weather, but it really is charming. The lights, just the decorations, it's a beautiful time to be there. And I did mention briefly that we offer wines on the ship, but we also have dates that are designated as wine dates. So if you really love wines, you might want to sign up for one of our cruises that has a wine host on board. So they'll be doing lectures and talks and wine pairings, and you can learn a few new things, but by no means do you need to be an expert to go on this trip. You're really there to enjoy and partake in what they're offering. So those are the destinations we go to. There are many more, like I mentioned. We didn't go over Portugal. We didn't go over the exotics. But because you're here and because you're working with Susan, she's also part of a network called Signature. And we have some great promotions going on. We have a list of dates, which are the Signature block dates and the Signature amenity dates, where we're offering a $300 onboard credit if you book one of those dates. So when we talked about what's not included, that $300 onboard credit can easily go towards your gratuity. So that's one less thing that you have to worry about on the ship. If you don't want it to go towards gratuity, you want to go towards your drinks or towards a spa treatment, whatever you want, that's what an onboard credit is all about. You do with it what you want. Other promotions that we have going on right now, if you're really itching to go somewhere this year and you're ready to make a reservation by June 30th, we have lots of dates where we're offering free pre or post cruise land package. So you heard me talk about the post package in Lake Como. You heard me talking about the pre-package in Prague. You can get that complimentary on select dates in 2023. And if you're interested in the Mekong, we're doing that for the Mekong as well. So Susan has the dates. If you're flexible, she can absolutely find the best value for you. And if it happens to also be a signature date, guess what? Those offers are combinable. So that's a really great deal. And as I mentioned earlier, on the land program, you'll stay in a beautiful world-class 4- and 5-star hotel in the heart of the city. Daily breakfast will be included. City tours and excursions led by local guides will be included, but you'll also have free time, which is what I love too. You know, many guests will ask me if they're doing the Amsterdam trip, they want to go to Anne Frank House. We do not offer that, but you'll have free time. You can explore on your own, get the tickets in advance and go. And that's what Susan would help you with as well. If you want to see the Louvre, we don't include the Louvre in Paris, but we can arrange, Susan can arrange those tickets for you in advance as well. So we give you like blocks of time where we're going to show you the city, but then you get some free time too. Convenient transfers and porterage if you book the air with Ama Waterways. I highly recommend doing it that way because then we know where you are, where you're coming from, if there's any delays, any kind of hassle. And of course, unique to Ama Waterways, I can't say it enough, the cruise managers are with you every step of the way. Another promotion that we have going on, because we realize that airfares are through the roof. Everybody's talking about this pent-up demand. People have been home for 3 years and now they're itching to go, and the airlines are taking full advantage of us. So they are really charging a lot of money. So we've got, again, select dates where you can get economy air through Ama Waterways, through Susan, for $899 per person. Premium economy for $22.99 and business class for $42.99. And Susan can attest that those are very, very good prices from what she's seeing in the regular computer system looking through, to book. So again, these bookings have to be made by June 30th to secure your space. If we have any solo travelers that are listening in tonight, we've always got those couples that have that single sister-in-law, single brother-in-law that wants to travel, but they always feel like they get stuck.
This is a singles group too.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Yeah. So we're giving you a 20 in balcony staterooms. You'll only pay a 25% single supplement. So normally, people would pay 200% to go on a cruise. 25% in balcony, fixed window, also 25%, or you could have the single occupancy waived on certain dates as well. We actually have 4 ships that have true single cabins. So that's what that's talking about when they say waive single supplement. There will be no single supplement on those. So again, you know, you got to be flexible. I don't know if I can guarantee all 10 singles on the same shipping date, but we'll do our best to get you what we can to at least get you the 25% savings. So again, June 30th is the key date. That's why we wanted to get this presentation done this month, so you have a few months to book it, but things are moving very, very quickly. And then there was one more thing I wanted to say, and I went right out of my head. I was thinking about it and it disappeared, but it'll come back to me. We'll open it up for, if you book, that's what it was, for attending the presentation tonight. On top of everything else, whatever else the special might apply, I'm going to throw in $100 onboard credit per person. So you'll have lots of money to spend on drinks, spa,
Awesome. Thank you.
whatever you want. So $100 onboard credit additional if you book within 2 weeks of this presentation tonight. So we'll open it up for questions. If anybody wants, I see there's something in the chat.
There was one question in the chat. How long has Ama been in business?
Very good. We started operation in 2002. So last year we celebrated our 20th anniversary.
Awesome. Okay. Does anyone else have any questions? You can unmute now.
We'll let you unmute.
Is there a doctor on the ship?
Very good question. There is not a doctor on the ship. And I love when I get that question because people say, what do you mean there's no doctor on the ship? I say, because we just say pull over. You have to realize we're not in the middle of the ocean. We're not airlifting anybody. I have been on the ship where at 3 o'clock in the morning, there was an emergency. We just pulled over, get an ambulance, and they get to a hospital. So we do not have a doctor on the ship.
You know, Columbia, as I mentioned to you, I was on a river cruise in June, and one of my complaints was you answered your ship. There was no activities to do on my river cruise, and I love cruising, and I was so bored because I didn't feel like walking and going out. I wanted to stay, you know, and all we had was a little baby jacuzzi that maybe held 2 people. And there was no swimming pool, and there was no yoga, and there was no activities whatsoever. So this was very impressive, very, very impressive.
Glad to hear. Like I have to say, Jerry, you know, if you do decide to stay on board in the summer, yes, you can stay on the top deck. You can enjoy the lounge, but there's real like when you know we're not playing bingo, we're not doing napkin folding, we're not doing anything like that. But you know, you've been on a river cruise now, so even if you don't want to go with the tour, you say, you know what, I've had enough. I know myself, I get tired of listening to these. They do such a great job, but after a while, you tune out. Like, oh yeah, I can't listen to this anymore. You can actually just walk into town, you know, Rudesheim. You can step off the ship and just.
I was there.
I love Rudesheim. Now, did you go to the music museum?
Yes.
Oh,
fantastic.
I love that place.
Fantastic.
So you can just do it on your own. And another thing I like even on the cruise itself, like I just did the Danube cruise. So we were in Vienna, we did a tour in the morning, and then we were going to be there all afternoon, but I didn't feel like hanging out. So I said, let's go back to the ship for lunch. And then they provided shuttle service in the afternoon to take us back downtown and take you back to the ship. So you don't feel like, all right, now what am I going to do? And the same thing happened with the Christmas markets. My niece and I went back to it was a little cold, it was a little wet. We were in Cologne and we saw it book during the day and we said, all right, well, what are we going to stand here and wait for the lights to go on? Let's go back to the ship. No, let's go relax. And then we went back out at dusk and the shuttle took us back and forth. And we got to see it all in its magical splendor, you know, with all the lights on. So that's what I love about Ama. They really, you know, think of everything. And they really do an excellent job. So you get to try us.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I do like cruising, but I'm always popping pills. Is this a smoother ride?
Oh, good question. You will not feel a thing.
Don't I have good questions?
Yeah, there are no waves on the rivers. The only time you're going to feel a little bump is when you're going through the many locks along the way. And going through the locks is like an engineering marvel. It's amazing to see. So yeah, you're not going to be seasick. I mean, if you have serious motion sickness,
No,
I
no,
still have to take something. Like if you don't even like driving in a car, I don't know
no,
how.
I'm good with that.
Okay, you'll be fine. There, it's not like we're going at top speeds. We're not, hitting waves and bumping. It's smooth, very, very smooth.
And the dress is very casual.
Very good question. During the day, totally casual. I actually traveled my last cruise, which just a few weeks ago. I was there I left April 3rd to the 10th. So proud of myself. I brought carry-on only for the whole trip. And this is my tip for the ladies on the call. I learned this from some woman on the internet. I don't know. She said, for every 2 pair of pants, you pack 4 tops because nobody remembers your pants. They just remember your top. So I brought 3 pair of black pants for the evening. I brought like a black tank top and then these nice flowy tops that went over. And I gotta say, I look pretty good. So because I had a triple connection going over. So I was nervous about losing my luggage. I said, I'll be damned if I give them my suitcase and then it doesn't arrive. So I traveled with my wheelie bag, a knapsack, and I was good to go. So in the evening, you get a little more dressy. You put a nice top on, you put a nice pair of earrings on, a nice necklace, bedazzle a little bit and you'll be good.
You're giving a wonderful presentation.
Thank you. You can tell I like what I do.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, that's awesome. And are there any other questions? I think we hit all the questions.
I think I asked enough.
Okay, so
That was great.
actually, Columba, that was really, really a great presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for coming. And again, I'll send you the recording when it's done. Share it, pass it along. Be happy to have anyone join us on one of our beautiful ships.
Yes.